This is Dance Studio 411, where we answer your real-life questions about your toughest studio life predicaments. Parent problems, teacher turnover, student challenges, policy dilemmas, and so much more. Let's talk about what's keeping you awake at night and what you can do about it. Here are your hosts, Suzanne Blake Garrity and Jill Tyrone.
Welcome, everyone, to this episode of our Dance Studio 411 podcast. Today, our guest is Kim Black, and she is going to share a bunch of great information on starting, growing, and thriving in 2021. And a little bit about Miss Kim, and of course, you're going to get to know her on this episode, but she is the owner of Miss Kim's Children's Dance and Arts, and she is located in Burlington, North Carolina. And of course, Miss Kim, I love that name because she is not only loved by her students, but she is a veteran dance teacher for more than 34 years. In 2020, Miss Kim opened her own dance studio and also earned the prestigious Dance Teacher Award. And she's now expanding with another space, which I am really excited to hear about. Miss Kim enjoys sharing her knowledge and experience with other dance teachers, and she has led preschool dance sessions at the Dance Teacher Summit, as well as creative movement for the mind and body at early childhood education conferences all over the country. We are so excited to have you here today, Miss Kim, and to share your story with our DSO crew and our podcast listeners. So welcome.
Thank you, Suzanne. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. Well, you've been a longtime member of Dance Studio, and what I call the year of, it feels like the year we just experienced felt like 10. So I feel like I've known you forever and our paths have crossed at Dance Teacher Summit. So maybe if you would tell our listeners a little bit about your story about how you opened in the middle of a pandemic.
Absolutely. Well, last year I was turning 50 years old, and I knew I had been teaching dance for two other studios for many, many years. And I knew this was going to be my time to do it if I was going to do it. Well, then the pandemic hit, and that was a gift to me. It was a gift of time and energy. I signed my lease the day everything was shut down, Friday, March 13th, which we're coming around with our anniversary, which is just so crazy to me. Yes, I signed my lease and I got to work. Others may have seen it, I know, went through hard times, but for me, it was 2 months of nonstop get it done. Formed my LLC, got my logo, got my research. Oh, actually, you became a member of Dance Studio Owner. And within that community, I figured out what dance software to use and many other things as far as flooring, accessories, props, everything I needed to know. So I took my knowledge, combined it with the others in the Dance Studio Owner community, and made some really great decisions that worked for me this year. I was going to open August 1st. I moved forward and opened June 1st. And I always go back to my saying, I am definitely a person. There are two types of people, some that watch things happen and some that make things happen. And I'm definitely one that makes things happen. So I never want to be a follower. So June 1st, I opened, and I was the only studio open on June 1st, which, what do you think? There were parents that were waiting to do something for their children. And it was scary. I will tell you that first couple of weeks were very scary for me. I know how to teach dance. That wasn't the problem. It was, COVID. I'm happy to say I have been open since June 1st and have not had one problem.
It's amazing. Amazing. The fact that I get chills when I think of what you went and you shared how much success you've had. And it's almost like, doors close and open. And I know that a lot of our listeners have experienced, at my own dance studio, we have been financially just it's a gut check, kick in the gut, but everybody's there. We've done these pulse surveys throughout the months. And as an industry, we've suffered between, most studios are down 40 to 50% of enrollment. But I love that you were courageous and you took the coach and you reached out for help and you combined, like you said, you're an excellent dance teacher. You're known all over the country. It was the business. That's a leap of faith and you took it. And so I'm excited for you to share some of the ways that you grew your enrollment. How did you get it started? What did you do?
Well, you have to understand, I've been teaching. So I had a community following. So once I opened my space, I think having a strong mission and sticking by that mission is key. For example, 12 kids in a class. I had that rule before COVID, and parents truly enjoy quality over quantity. And so I stuck by that. And I think one positive parent referral beats any dollar you can spend on marketing, hands down. And so I think I'd start with that. So I opened with my summer camps and summer classes. And with being brand new, just starting out, I could only grow from there, So yes, for me, it's a different situation, but it still was scary. I had the same things that most, studios that have been open for years and decades had. I just was not going to stop. And our summer camp was very successful. And as I gained each week, I got more confident. And as we went through the summer, people were saying, when are you going to start fall registration? Well, that I had it up running June 15th for our fall to start. And I did a survey for parents. Would you rather start before Labor Day or after Labor Day? And all of them wanted to start after Labor Day. So I knew what worked. I only go up to age 10. So I know what works for those age groupings. Something about thinking outside of the box, though, that COVID has helped me deal with. I felt a loss of community. I felt very sterile, not having parents inside, and I still don't allow parents inside, which brings a whole nother set of issues with young children. Communication nonstop. I send weekly emails. Okay. My Instagram story, you need to follow me on Instagram because I am posting stories. And of course I have parents' permission. That does two things. It shows the parents what their little ones are doing inside, but it also shows others, oh, wow, look what they're doing inside at Miss Kim's. So it's marketing one-on-one, but it's also taking care of my parents. So communication with parents, but thinking about outside the box, this was something I'd never done. I had 10 virtual open houses. I had at least 40 to 50 parents on every one of them. Now, those are parents that they didn't know about Miss Kim's. They just wanted to hear what I was doing and what I was planning on with COVID and schedules. I was amazed. So that told me right there, parents are willing. They'll sign on to a Zoom before they'll drive over to your studio to take a tour.
Yes.
I am going to be doing virtual open houses from now on because I think we can reach more people that way.
Yes. Let's actually dive into that a minute. So there are some wonderful silver linings of our marketing strategies that have come from this. And I want to talk about those two things. When you communicate weekly to the parents, are you giving them an update of what you're working on in class? You're telling them what the skills the children are learning. Great. And they love that. Parents today, they want to know what little Anna, Ella, Abby, Ava are working on in terms of their growth. And then, so that does take some time, but it's, like you said, it's worthwhile on so many levels. We've talked about this. I've coached a lot of studio owners who they get really bogged down in creating these intricate and complicated automation sequences, which are unnecessary. If you step back and say, you know what matters is the one-to-one relationship. You can automate billing. You can automate your vacuum, your iRobot little vacuum can automate, you can automate the stuff that doesn't matter, but the personal touch of those emails pays dividends beyond what we know. And so for sure.
Always. What I do is I get my teachers, take it off of me a little bit. I take care of mine, get my teachers to send me 3 sentences. Give me 3 sentences, what you did this week, or give me a little story. I am not opposed to pulling out my phone and texting a parent, gosh, so-and-so did this today. I can't do that for everyone, but if it was profound, I'm always going to make that time to reach out to that parent because you never know what's going to come of that. So I get my teachers to send me that in an email. I just copy and paste. Hey, this week in jazz, this week in acro, this week in tap, this is what we're working on. And then I talk about what's coming out this week. I always include our COVID screening, which they have to do. And then I also include what's coming up. Be ready for registration. My summer camps, I know that's coming up, but when I released that, it was filled within 2 days.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
To my studio kids, not the outside.
Amazing. So we're going to actually watch, as I know our podcast listeners are like, how are you filling summer camps that fast already? So, but let's talk about the virtual open house and then we'll talk about summer camp. So you reached 40 to 50 parents per, and I love this virtual thing. I think that it has impacted places like colleges and universities. They are going to keep this going. How did you market? You started with you just opened your studio. Mm-hmm. Granted, you had a following outside of it, but how many students did you gain through those virtual open houses?
So my goal was 100 students. That was my goal. Yeah. I knew that I could cover my expenses with 100 students. When I started September, I forget that it was the Monday after September, I had 278 students.
That's amazing.
Now to this date, I have 398.
398. Everybody needs to hear that. That's just been in 7 months, mm-hmm. not even that you grew. So mm-hmm. You're using that social media, amazing word of mouth parents. Mm-hmm. So you're pulling out these virtual open houses. You're only serving kids ages 10 and under, mm-hmm. Which is brilliant. And did you put paid advertising behind like Facebook ads to get those virtual open houses?
Very rarely I would do that. I didn't need to. Why? Parents. Ask them. I asked my parents, please share this. The best way you can do is I've asked them at the very beginning, may I tag you? May I tag you on any of my posts? Yes, they all answer yes. I might have one or two that say no. Well, once I do that tag, they're sharing it for me because they're proud. They want to show their child. So I let them do my advertising for me. So yes, I would do I did a little video on Canva. Hello, Canva.
Yeah, Canva. We love it.
That I'm telling you, I'm making if you look at Instagram, I've made all kinds of things with Canva that I love. But I did a little promo video of Miss Kim's, me standing outside waving. I did a little video. I reached out to my college, Elon University, and got a technical person there to come, a video production person that's a student, to come and shoot a little video with a big Burlington water tower behind me, talking about what I was going to be doing. Well, I shared that little video so people knew I was coming. So that got me into summer camp enrollment. Then midway, I did another video inside Miss Kim's showing everybody what's going on here. Join me for a virtual open house to learn how your child can be a part of Miss Kim's family and registration. And I'll go over COVID, I'll go over schedules and what everything will look like. And of course, I had all of my parents share that. I didn't say, I just said, please share if you would. And I think it had like 48 shares.
That's amazing.
So it was good. It was a good
Yeah, that's a good thing. And I know we're going to, in the show notes, everyone listening, we're going to link over. So from our Dance Studio 411 podcast, we'll link your Instagram. I know you were generous. We're going to move to summer camps now. You're very generous with your sharing. And I want everyone to know on this call that Miss Kim she's a light and she's bright and you are a teacher of children, but you're also a teacher of teachers, which is a brilliant gift. And I love that. So let's actually talk about summer camps because, summer typically is where we want to curl up in the corner and cry as a studio owner, but not you. So let's talk about that. So you mean you were waitlisted kids right out of the gate. So
I have 28 on the wait list right now on one of my camps.
So you launched your summer camps. And now if it's not too late, if someone's listening to this and they're like, I haven't even started, but you launched them and you have kids on wait list. So let's talk about it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I need to, let's go back because I used to be just one camp a summer. What I found is I get on a different level with children in the summer during summer camps. It opens up an opportunity truly to form lasting relationships with that family because you're getting to see those parents more than you would typically see them once a week. You get to spend time with the child, so you get to know that child. Every parent wants to know that you love their child. So when you're spending that much time with them, there is truly a connection that happens. That parent, when they see that connection, they're not going anywhere else. They're not. That, even if they think, she might be better over there at something, whatever. But their child loves Miss Kim. So they're going to come to Miss Kim simply because their child is so happy there. So I think that, summer camp gives you those opportunities of forming deeper relationships, period. Mm-hmm. Second, I figured out parents need more time. They need 6 hours. You can do a 6-hour camp and not be licensed because they're different children each week. I had to figure all that out. So I have camps from 9 till 3. I even do early drop off and late pickup. So parents can drop off at 8:30 and they pay $10 more a day, or they can pick up at 3:30. So each of those I'm billing into that, working that into billing. But still, you don't have to be a licensed childcare facility if you're at 6 hours, simply because you have different students each week. Check with your state though on that. That's for North Carolina. So anyway, so there's number 2. You're serving parents. They need that, especially working parents. And then also I learned that it's a great way for your teachers to make additional money. So you talk about time. Yes, time is time. But when you've got a dance teacher that only gets 20 hours a month, can get 15 hours in 1 week, that's that. And then you spell it out to them, hey, this is how much money you can make in 1 week. That's incentive for you to have. So now this last year I would hold 1 to 2 camps per week. This year I'm holding 4 camps every week.
You have 4 studio spaces. Mm-hmm. Right. So the dilemma with camps goes something like this. And it's why we're having you on this conversation, because it's so great. And I love your themes. I hope our listeners go check out. We can talk a little bit, but they're very creative, and you integrate science and art and dance. But the concern for studio owners is the payroll, to what you just said, that what if we only get 3 kids in this camp, and then our payroll is higher than what have you. So how do you make a business decision on when to run a camp and how to price it?
Well, if I only have 3 children, we're not having camp. I'm going to move those kids to another camp. And I'm actually going to offer an incentive for parents, because I do not want to lose those kids. I'm willing to discount those kids 25% if they'll move to another camp week. I would even say that with classes too. If I only have 3 in a class, I'm going to lose money. I don't care if I lose money on those 3 kids in the class, because if you take all of it, if you take all of your classes and average them, you're still coming out ahead, because those 3 kids, I'm not willing to lose those 3 kids. They're going to go somewhere else if you tell them no. I will never turn away a child. Right now, at one of my demi sessions, which is something we're going to talk about, I've got 1 child. I'm not going to lose them, because they're going to sign up for 2 or 3 summer camps. They're also going to sign up for next year for a full year. So never. Now, summer camp's different story. If I've got 3 kids, I'm going to discount them and I'm going to move them to another camp. I've not had that problem, thankfully, but generally, if there is a camp that has that, we're moving them to another camp. Now, if you don't have another camp, then I would love to talk to you about how I would do some outreach to try to generate. And things you can do for that is do a sample camp, do a Friday night camp where you video and you take pictures to say, hey, this is what this is going to look like. And then you generate interest that way.
Yeah, it's true. So I like that. So if you're starting to notice that a camp isn't filling, do you make that decision? How many weeks before it go? How soon do you? Sometimes it's down to the wire, right?
Yeah, I would have to give parents a heads up, but I'd have to look like I do I look at my numbers every day. But I would definitely, if it's a camp in August, I'm looking at the beginning of July and trying to figure it out, because parents have already got their schedules set. They don't want any surprises, because then that makes us look like we don't know what we're doing, and we don't want that.
Yeah. So you launch your themes, and do you look at what you see as popular, working with your teachers, taking it, like, how did you pick all your themes?
Well, always princess is a huge one. Princess is a huge one. I've added in preschool princess. Normally, typically, I'll have princess camp ages 3 to 10. Okay. Then parents are like, well, why do you have a 10-year-old with a 3-year-old? I don't. I get that for all the enrollment. Then I split them up into categories. So I've got my assistant teacher that's going to be in the play group. Okay. And I'm holding class for 7 to 10-year-olds. Then we switch, and then I take my 3 to 6-year-olds, and then I'm doing their class for them. So parents are made aware of that, and it says it in my description sometimes, depending on what camp it is. So I want parents, and then at the end of the week, I have the 3 to 6-year-old parents come and watch, and then I have the 7 and 10-year-old parents watch. So they know from the get-go, oh no, I know Miss Kim's going to separate them by ages. They're going to get a craft that's according to their age group, and they're going to get, play and games or dance or whatever it is according to their age group. But the preschool princess, I put that in to grab my 2.5-year-olds. Parents, once they trust you and you've established your name, they'll send their 2.5-year-old. They're ready. I had one come in yesterday that's 2 years old, and they're ready to dance. Well, you better grab them at 2.5 or the next studio will. So you've got to provide an opportunity for that 2.5-year-old. So that's what I did with preschool. So I'd take 2.5 to 4-year-olds. So then what did that do? That thing filled up in no time, and it offered more spots for my princess camp. So it's sort of the same way, but it's a wonderful marketing strategy to fill that age group a little bit more and open up spots for others. Unicorns, mermaids, fairies, you'll see different themes. Now, you know about infringements. So I would love to call it the Little Mermaid, but I can't do that, and fairies, Tinkerbell or whatever. And that's why you see Fancy Surprise. I am not going to say Fancy Nancy. I have an educator in my community that dresses up as Fancy Nancy. She comes and reads to me for free every Wednesday. And so she follows my theme and comes every Wednesday all dressed up free of charge. That's something she enjoys.
That's her thing. That's awesome. There's so many ideas. I mean, I love talking to you, and I know our listeners gain. So when you launched your summer camps, how many enrollments did you get into summer?
Well, my full day summer camps literally filled up in 2 days. When I say filled up, 15 spots. Okay. Right. There's still spots for half day. Of course, those filled up too. The Descendants, Princesses, American Girl, not American Girl Doll, American Girl filled up in 2 days. Those are your 3. If you don't do anything else, you look at Descendants, you look at preschool, that Princess and American Girl, Pop Star, that's, JoJo and all that, but we don't say that. We say Pop Star. And those are my top 4 camps to do. Yeah. And they love it for all genres. We do tap, jazz, acro, hip hop, and all that.
I love it. Ms. Kim, you're inspiring. So there's so many things to take away here. First of all, thank you for being a great student of all of the things we teach at dancestudioowner.com. I'm grateful for you. You bring such great energy. I know that, you are inspiring me through what's possible through the pandemic. I know that others might be interested. If someone wants to follow you on Instagram, what's your handle?
It's at Miss Kim Dance, MISSKIM Dance.
Beautiful. Yeah. And we're going to put your link to your site too on there.
Suzanne, may I say just something that I think I missed that I want your listeners to know? Remember how I said I started out at 278 in September and now I'm up to 398? There's key things I added here. I start my what I call demi sessions. At my other studios, I started it there. It was called petite session at one studio, demi session or mini session. Now at Miss Kim's, it's called demi session. Those are 6 weeks of classes. I run those nonstop. They're non-performing classes. So it's great. That's how I get new students nonstop. So they're going on their field nonstop. So those are 6-week classes. I also tried to figure out, that's why I put Miss Kim's dance and arts, because in my long-term goal, I wanted to add other genres and art, music, whatever. I added an art class that filled within 3 days of registration. I got a veteran art teacher in our community that's been teaching 34 years, just like me. And I got her a beautiful space. I bought her all of her things she needed, and she is rocking it. And we've got wait lists. We've already signed up for the next art session, and we're doing art camps all summer. So that right there, my friends, is a great way to think outside the box and put more students in your studios. Because guess what? Those students have sisters or brothers that may want to do dance.
I love the art. I love it. That's brilliant. The art program, bringing an art program. There's so many, oh my gosh, we could do a whole weekend on this, but you've been amazing. So many things for our listeners to listen to learn from. Definitely so many great takeaways. I know that I'm going to keep going with our virtual open houses. To your point, everyone's realized they can sit on their couch and learn a lot. And so we can embrace so many silver linings from this pandemic. And you are an inspiration to all of us. So thank you for your time today, Ms. Kim. And I do hope that all of our listeners feel like this helped them keep their passion for dance alive as they run and grow their studio.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Dance Studio 411. Visit us online at dancestudio411.com for more great resources and to submit a question for a future episode. Our number one goal is to help you build a successful dance studio business and keep your passion for dance alive.